Good morning.
Hi, Dan. I'm driving.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm listening. I'm driving. I'm meeting your photographer at Coronado this morning to get some good shots that I can use. And then we're meeting this afternoon, I think, to just finalize everything in the MLS because it'll go up tomorrow. I got to go to LAR and get some signs that say owner occupy or owner agent. I've made an appointment to do that today. And Shalaya has signed, she ordered some generic signs, Keller Williams, to, so I'm picking those up today. And then I don't know what the next step is. I'm just doing one thing at a time. But that's what I'm doing.
Well, you're going in the right direction. Keep going.
Keep going. So I'm interested. I listened last night. I was able to get the video. So, because I know that's in my very near future. So today is a good session.
Well, good. I hope everybody enjoys it.
Yeah. Hi, Dan. We have Clinton, the OP in Charlottesville, joining us too. I think he's on the call.
Good.
Yep.
Hey, Clinton, can you hear us?
I can. I'm here and I'm listening in, and I forwarded it to several of my agents that I thought might have an interest. Not sure what their schedules are.
Well, we kind of told you 10 minutes ahead, so makes it a little hard.
Hi, Tracy.
And we got off our call a little bit late, so Tina should be on any minute.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, Tina. Yeah, I texted one and emailed one. Shall I? I'll email you another one real quick. I'll send you one real quick. Email. The one that's got to talk is, I'm going to share my screen, guys, just temporarily. Sorry.
Dan, then as OPs, we get so many Zoom calls sent in from the region, she probably can't get through her stack of them.
No, she just can't find it, so it'll be quicker for me to go find it and give it to her.
I just shared it with Clinton. I've got it right here. I'll send it to her.
Okay, you're gonna send it to her email?
Yep, just sent it.
I'll tell her.
Dan, is this going to be recorded? So if I miss something, I can go back and see it?
Yeah.
Great.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm more comfortable.
Well, we could move upstairs too, so.
I'm waiting to see it. There she is. Hi, Tina. Tina's got her bit there. There she goes. Good morning, Tina. I just lost her again. I hope everyone has coffee.
I'm going through the drive-thru at Joe Bean's right now.
Oh man, that hurts.
Sorry, I know.
Uh, I like their chocolate mochas coffee. Hot. Trey, what time did you get finished last night?
I got a ratified contract back at 10:30. I went to bed after that.
Ouch. Well, yeah, I got a real bad feedback on your end.
Hey, now can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, I think you maybe had me on mute, so I could hear you all along.
Well, we keep everyone muted until they're ready.
Ah, that makes sense.
Otherwise, it just gets too noisy. So
Yeah.
I hope everyone had I hope everyone had time to watch the video last night or yesterday. It's a good video. I've watched it 3 or 4 times now. But I think that Tina has had the opportunity to actually experience it and come up with some very interesting amount of views. Also, before I forget, the Stephen Akery will be on the regional panel tomorrow, the 17th at, Teresa, is it 10 o'clock?
Yes, 10 o'clock.
Okay, we'll be sending out, I'll be sending out, or Shalaya one will be sending out information on it. But remember, one of our own is going to be on that, so we would sure like to go on there and support him.
Absolutely, we'll be there.
So I'm not really sure what they're discussing or anything, but whatever it is, he'll make it lively. So with that, Tina, can you go ahead and start, since everyone's already supposedly seen this, and you can start talking about it, and everybody maybe can chime in when they have questions.
Absolutely. So I think you heard Teresa say that if we had never used the ability to boost your post, that through command, that Facebook is giving an offer of $25 if you spend $75. And I think our subject today with virtual open houses would be a perfect venue to use that extra $25. So I have not actually done the virtual open houses myself. I will be doing 2 on Sunday. I will be doing them live with 2 new listings I have in Farmington. My daughter is actually going to hold the phone. We are going to have all the lights on when we start it. We are going to start on the outside, and we are going to kind of show the neighborhood, and then I'm going to introduce the house. I will be live, so I'll be walking through the house, and as I talk, I will have already walked through the house one time with Kate, and so she's going to know the things I'm going to hit, and so as I talk about a particular granite or a particular view, she is going to sweep and actually show those things. since it is Facebook Live, there may be people that will be asking us, to show the pantry again or to go closer to a certain fixture, which of course we are going to be happy to do. And the idea of having someone with the phone, they can actually, give you that feedback of what people are saying or what they're asking. And so I can tell the audience too, hey, if you want me to slow down or show you something again or zoom in on something, let me know. And while I'm doing the Facebook live event, then I can be responsive to whatever they're asking. So we have done this 2 times with the Roanoke Market Center. I think we were completely shocked by how many views that they got. So Debbie Giles has done 2 of them. She has a marketing manager. She is our -- agent in Roanoke. And her marketing manager paid to boost on Facebook, and they did the exact, if you go to the Facebook pivot page and look up virtual tours there, and Dan, if we could send it out, actually it's a 1 page on how to do a virtual open house, and she did exactly what Pivot told her to do. So she scheduled the event on Wednesday, boosted it on Wednesday. A day before, she boosted it again. And then the morning of, she boosted it a 3rd time. So they had over 2,000 views on both of their open houses. And when I do mine on Sunday, I'm going to do one at 2, and then I'm going to go over and do one at 3. I figure if I'm dressed up and I have my camera girl with me, I might as well do 2 of them. And I'll let you know. I will be happy to post how many views we had. A lot of those views will come after the open house, so people will go back to it and look at it. But, Debbie Giles was saying, I will never do an in-person open house again. The most she's ever gotten is 25 folks through an open house. So if you can get 2,800, why would you go back? And I think especially if you have a new listing, you want to, showcase it as a new listing, and highly successful. So then Katie Cookston also did the same thing. She did a virtual open house last week. She had 2,800 views on hers. She did not boost hers at all. She said, Tina, I'm cheap. I posted it on the yard sale pages. I posted it on, all these different places that she had, and she said, I didn't spend a dime. And she basically got about the same amount of views on it. So what they both were telling me is kind of have a plan going into it, walk through the house with the camera person, and know, what you want to showcase. And then kind of show the neighborhood. And they were saying 20 minutes-ish, no more than 25. So, yep, that's what I know.
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I hadn't seen that sheet on Pivot, Dan. Do you mind sharing that with everyone?
The paper
Dan,
or
if you don't find it, it is 1 sheet, and it kind of, writes out what I just said. So that would be ideal if we could share it. If you have any problems, I can get it to you.
Okay.
The other thing is trying to capture these people. And so that was what the Pivot, video said yesterday, is how do you capture them? So, do we put something on there? They said they don't even tell the price, or else they'll say, reach out to me. Is there a way to send the video link to our database? There has to be a way to get that out where you can actually capture these leads. Tina, when you did this, when the people looked at it, did it capture their information at all?
They did. So the one house sold in 4 days, and they got 4 leads off of it. you know, it's just like any other social media platform. You know, you engage, you know, you talk about that house. If it's not right, you know, it's really just like any other Facebook lead or anybody that reaches out to you. So yeah, they sold the house in 4 days, and they got 4 solid leads off of it. And
Nice.
you know, people just responding either at that time or later. So it went on for a while. Yeah, so there's no way, Teresa, to email it. You can post it. And so, you know, she posted it to yard sale groups. She posted it. It's so big that the only thing that you can do is, you know, post it. There's no way to really email it. So the only thing you can do is
Because it's so
put it
long.
on different. Yeah, it's so long. Yeah, you can't send it or text it. But you can embed a URL and put them, you know, drive it back to them. But you can put it on a YouTube page and drive it back to them. But all they're saying is their successes all were just using Facebook, but using it. So one got there by putting it on more of the free sites like the yard sale sites, and the other one got about the same amount by using boosting. So, and
Nice. Can you imagine having our Sundays
yeah.
back?
Well, you know, yes and no. I'm still doing Sunday. You know, I am going to go get Sunday. Although I will tell you, Katie Cookson said her client called her at 8 in the morning, and she did it at 10 o'clock on Saturday. And so she's done 2. Debbie Giles has done 2. All of them are saying they had over 2,000 views. So maybe it's not going to matter when we do them. And Katie said she didn't have a cameraman because it was so last minute. She just did it herself, and she still had a great amount of views. So that's where I would say don't get too caught up. Just get out there and do it, you know, and fail forward, you know. Yeah, yeah.
Don't
So
overplan.
I'm going to get out there 20 minutes early. I'm going to walk through the house with my daughter, make sure she knows where I'm going, you know, and how we're going to sweep through. I'm going to make sure the lights are all on. Everything's where I want it to be. And we're going to kind of have a dry run of it. And then, I plan to do it in one take and move on to the next house. I like the idea that I can basically do 2 open houses in an hour and a half, and 2,000 views. Yeah, I'll do that all day long versus the old fashioned way. I mean, we've all
agree.
sat open houses where we've had 2 people through, and you're like, well, I got caught up on my email, but you know. So.
No, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what they both told me that they did. Each one did it a slightly different variation, but they both had success. So I'm going to do it through Command. So we are already starting to social media what we're going to do on Sunday and what properties. But the hits a lot of times come after the open house live. So people watch
Tina,
it when they want to watch.
Is theirs somewhere we watch it, like on YouTube, or can we Google their name just so that we can kind of get a feel for what they did?
Absolutely. I will put that together, Dan, and get it to you.
Okay.
I'll try and do one of each, what each different person did.
Great. We'll stay tuned for yours on Sunday.
Yeah, and absolutely, mine will be at 2 and 3 o'clock. So, yeah, I can share what I'm doing and how to get there. That might be good too.
Are both of yours going to be in Farmington?
Yes, I have a new listing on Whispering Springs, and then I have a new build with Kevin Foster on Stony Ridge on the new street.
I have a couple of suggestions or comments. One comment is that you can do a Zoom, like start people out. I'm having a really bad hair day, y'all. I'm so sorry. Start people out on Facebook, but have a Zoom set up so that you can push people to Zoom instead. I haven't done that before, but I sat in on a webinar that my coach arranged with some people in Florida, and they did. Let me come back to the Zoom part, but while I'm thinking about it, let me tell you also that once your event is done on Facebook, you can host a watch party. So I did a virtual open house. I did not have the kinds of results that you guys are talking about so far, but I didn't do any boosting at all. And mine was it's a little more than 10 minutes. But if you guys want, I can do a watch party when we finish this, and y'all can watch with me and give me critique, give me feedback and see what I did. And I'll share that link in the closed Facebook group. So that, just thinking through that. But the group in Florida, they hosted simultaneously, Tina, which, with a team you could do. They had 5 open houses at the same time. They shared it from their Facebook page. But then they had this Zoom set up, and you have to have the paid for Zoom account to be able to do this. But what they did is when people came to the Zoom room, then they had one person who was like a moderator, who was sort of like the greeter, and just explained information about the neighborhood, about the property, not so much about the property, but the neighborhood, and had some facts that they shared. And then if somebody had specific questions about one of the properties, then they had them go into a separate breakout room, and they were able to talk one-on-one with the agent at that particular place. That agent showed them the pictures first from the listing, walked through the Matterport style, and then was able to have some one-on-one time to be able to convert people into buyer's agreements and have a more buyer consultative approach, versus just getting a lot of views where you're not having any traction, any conversion. So that was a lot more complex, and certainly a little harder to do if you're a solo agent. But I thought that was a really interesting idea, that they started on Facebook, but then pointed people to the Zoom, because then you can get more granular, excuse me, and have an opportunity to share like slides and screenshots, the photos and all of that, and then break out into a separate room. So just a little bit different strategy than like what I did, just a simple virtual open house, which was fine. And we haven't boosted it at all yet, and had some glitches. So like I set up an event, or Katie, truth be told, right? Katie, who works with me, set up the Facebook event, but then I couldn't figure out how to go live from the event on my phone. So I just was on my page, and then she had to point people from the event to my page, and I still didn't figure that part out. So y'all might have some better resources for that. But I did talk about, like I did the same thing, Tina, had all the lights turned on and all of that, but I started outside, and I talked about the neighborhood, I showed the street, I talked about, mine was on Chateau Place, which is off of Timberlake, so I talked about, very convenient to Timberlake Road, Kroger's right down the street, blah, blah, blah. And then I showed people walking their dogs in the neighborhood. It was a beautiful day, so that worked out fine. But what I gathered from this this group in Florida is that they shared the most information with a smaller group of people, to really be able to have some one-on-one time with folks in that private breakout room. So I think, what I did, I'm not displeased with it. Certainly, it was my first time, and I was nervous, like, am I going to get all the tech? Even for me, a technology person, I was still, am I going to get all the technology right? It felt, because I don't do a lot of video. So look, there's my vacuum cleaner behind me, my selfie stick. This is horrible. This is why I had the picture up before. But anyway, just kind of processing through doing it, maybe even doing a dry run first so that you have some, and I don't know if there's a way to do it privately first and then make it public. I'm just thinking out loud. Because I felt like I was
Well,
bumping a little bit.
I don't understand what you're saying about how to then put them into a Zoom room, because the Zoom is always an invite. So how would you say, how would you do that? Would you say in the Facebook, reach out to me with your email and I'll put you in a private Zoom room? Like how do you make that happen?
Yeah, that's what they did. And I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying they had a different experience rather than just a lot of views. They were able to actually make it like an open house where they could talk to people. So they shared more basic information for the broader view, and then people that really wanted to see more detailed information, they were able to move them to the Zoom. Maybe you just share a few facts about the neighborhood or something. I don't know. I'm brainstorming again, Tina, because this is new to me.
Well, could you get us on one of those, like on their next one? Are they doing one this weekend where we can actually see how you get them to the Zoom? Because I agree with you. It would be great to then, break it, separate them out. But I'd like to see that. Any way we can get an invite so we can go to one of theirs?
Let me see if I can find it, because I think that they had great results, but they had a coordinated effort. So they had, and again, I'm trying to think of how to scale this for a solo agent. Or maybe, several solo agents work together, Susan, Lolly, whoever it is, and we could do some of those same kinds of things together.
Carol, you have to upgrade. You have to upgrade your Zoom even higher than what we have.
I have it. I have the upgraded Zoom.
Okay.
So you get the breakout rooms with that upgrade.
Right.
So what they did is they had one person who was they watched the Facebook page, and then they just periodically, as people were on Facebook, they said, come, you're hosting this open house on Zoom today, come on over. And then when people were there, and when people sign up on Zoom, here's the piece I don't know how they get. I think they had a landing page where they got people's name and email address. And then once they did that, then they could get into the Zoom. That's the piece that I don't remember exactly. But, and then they had, or maybe this is something that even our whole market center, we could do, just a bang out, Keller Williams open house tour of which properties would you like to see?
Yeah, I think the landing page and the Zoom, I'm like, wow, that's higher than my pay grade. I need more help on that.
Yeah, just a different thought, but I love the idea. I mean, I did the virtual open house a couple of weeks ago, and like I said, I have 34 views. So we didn't do any boosting, and I hate to watch myself. Actually, no, we have 147 views. So it's still better than a traditional open house, 147 views and 604 people reached. And now what we have this, that we can do a watch party with, and I just, because of your comment, Tina, asked Katie if she could share that with, on those other pages too. So that's a great idea. Okay. And mine was 10 minutes. I actually did two. The first was 10 minutes, and then I stopped, and then the second one was about 13 minutes. And you feel like if you don't have people asking questions and that kind of stuff, then you feel like, okay, I've said everything I can say about this home right now without a million ums, ahs, and, I don't want to sound like a dummy. So time to close out.
Right.
Hi, this is Tracy Ellett. Can y'all hear me?
Hi, Tracy.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm on the other end of the spectrum, and I'm going to be doing a virtual open house very soon, as soon as I can figure out all of these kinds of things to promote that and try and get that sold. I have a couple questions. One, are there guidelines or restrictions of what we can and cannot say? I think I read somewhere, and I could be totally wrong, but I thought I read that we had restrictions about what we could say, pointing people to our website, and as far as marketing. Are there any things that are going to get us in trouble if we try and promote ourselves, beyond just the house and the listing that we are selling? So that's the one question. And the other question then, I guess, would be for Tina and Cheryl is, can we cross promote? So for Tina's open house on Sunday, if I have that information, I can share that with my folks and promote that as well. And with any of the other folks in the office who are doing virtual open houses, again, to maximize and boost what we can based on the different constituencies that we have.
I think that's a great idea, Tracy. And the one thing, I think you can't post your virtual open house video on MLS. I think what you're talking about is related to something that goes on MLS, but maybe Dan, you're on the MLS committee. Maybe you have, I'm not saying that definitively. Is that maybe what she's talking about?
Yeah, you cannot put a branded post inside the MLS. But on your particular case, Tracy, the first thing you have to tell them is that you're also the owner and the agent. You have to declare that.
And so what Dan means by branded post is you can't have your sign or your name or marketing material. So the one we did, I waited to the very end to advertise my name and my contact information. And then I edited it out. I shortened the video and took that part out and posted the unbranded one in the MLS and then left the branded one for my personal stuff.
That's correct.
Okay,
That
so
is
that's very
smart.
helpful, but I can still introduce myself saying I'm with Keller Williams. I'm an owner agent for the property on 1051 Coronado Lane. There's not any restriction about, our name, that wouldn't make any sense. So that's maybe what I was confused about is what we couldn't. So it's just for the MLS inclusion that we can't put the branded marketing on there, but we can for anything for our own web pages, sharing with our own folks, putting on our own Facebook pages. That's all fair game.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm just reminded of, radio spots where every, it's a 30-second, a 1-minute radio spot, and 5 times in the spot, they're going to say, call Cheryl Smith at 434-258-2448, or if it's a car thing, they're going to have that really fast. And so, note to self for my script, and you're hearing my grand dog barking. She wants attention. Come on, Moxie. Probably more frequently throughout the open house tour that I did, I probably more frequently should have said, once again, I'm Cheryl Smith with Keller Williams. Feel free to message me or call me at, just, kind of practicing the script for the open house.
I was told Debbie Giles said she did it at the beginning and then again at the end. That's how she did it. So she said, "Hi, I'm Debbie Giles with Keller Williams in Roanoke. This is my newest listing. Here's my contact information." And then after she finished it, she did it one more time. So she did it at the beginning and the end, which I thought made sense.
Yeah.
So.
But again, to Scott's point, if you're going to post it, you wouldn't have it in the middle, but just thinking about helping people remember, I don't know what makes sense, but just food for thought.
So this is Donna Patton from Charlottesville. How are you?
Good.
One thing you have to remember, and I saw this with a couple people, after you have the Facebook Live or the Zoom or whatever you're doing, if you're hosting it to one of your own platforms like YouTube or something like that, you can't then go ahead and put it, and I know we've already talked about branded stuff in the MLS, but I think we forget, even if we do a generic YouTube post, if we're posting it on our site, it's still showing our stuff. So we cannot do anything that says anything about that. Vimeo and also Revio allow you to upload videos and not brand them.
Donna, are you saying you can't have branded things on YouTube?
You can have it on YouTube, but when you go ahead and use that link and put it in your listing or in your virtual tour, then you have problems.
Yeah.
So if you want to use your Facebook, any of your stuff, just upload your unbranded tour to either Vimeo or also Revio, which are both free places and allow you to do unbranded stuff.
I have a suggestion. When we're doing video, often people don't want to listen to what you'll get people to go away from you in the first 2 or 3 minutes if you're not talking about the house. They're not here to talk about me and who I am, or they don't really care what my name is. All they want to know is about this house. So if I go into a long, lengthy thing, this is Nanette, and I'm with Keller Williams, and I've been with Keller Williams, and I got 3 minutes of Nanette, Keller Williams, or even a second or two longer than they want to hear, they're going to move on to the next one. And I want them to be a part of the house. So this is why you leave the introduction to your name and who you are at the end, okay? You've given them what they want first. They don't want my name. They don't care who I am. All they're there for is the house. People will avoid us even at an open house. So I would recommend just leaving that part out to the bottom of to the end of the video. If they have listened to you that long, then they want to know who you are.
Tina, this is Joan. I have a quick question about, you said Facebook command, and maybe I should know what that means, but I want to make sure I don't misunderstand what you're saying.
So command, in command, you can boost posts and you can do it through Facebook. And what I'm told is that it is much more effective in command than when you just go to a Facebook and post it. You can be specific on an age group. You can be consistent on a demographic of the market. You can put a area around it. So Ethan Rutherford is my tech person. Who would help Joanne? Joan know exactly how to boost it once she's done it, or boost the event. How to show her how to do it the first time.
Do I do it through campaigns?
Yes.
Am I doing it through campaigns, or do I do it through something altogether different?
It is through a campaign, Joan. For instance, I didn't even, it wasn't a virtual open house, but I did a command Facebook campaign, which I've been doing forever without command. And, you know, with my first boost, I got over 115 leads off of it. Now, they're not all going to be people buying a house today, but they go in your database and you start contacting them and stay in touch with them. But I did get names, emails, and phone numbers, but some of the names were not accurate because I think they come over like, you know, if you have an iPhone, it says the name, it might be their parents' phone. It might be a business phone. But the phone numbers and emails, most of those were correct.
Okay, so just real quick, I don't want to take a lot of time, but am I actually putting in a little ad for my Facebook Live campaign, or what am I actually doing?
It's a complete process, Joan. We've taught a couple of classes on it, and we'll be doing it again here real soon if you want to join in.
Well, I've been doing that some, but I really wanted to make sure I was doing it right for the actual, I mean, I do live Facebook a lot, but I was trying to figure out, am I doing an ad telling people about it, or am I actually Because I'm not actually putting the video on there, am I?
No,
Right, okay.
you're
Yeah,
going to
so-
the PWLF.
yeah. But Joan, reach out to Lenora, and Dan taught Lenora how to do it, who's working with me on my team. So reach out to her and she can walk you through what Dan taught, because I knew the minute she got it straight, because the leads came pouring in, and they pour in on Kelly. So all of a sudden your Kelly's going to start, generating leads.
Okay, and Lenora's,
Hey.
she's on your team, right? Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Teresa, could you ask Lenora to reach out to not only Joan, but to my Rachel, and just to do a Zoom call with the two of them so they both can see it? Because my Rachel needs to do this at a higher level.
Yes, absolutely. And just so everyone knows, Lenora is in Dan's productivity, and any agents that are having trouble, that productivity is amazing and it really is working. And I've offered some great incentives. If anyone has questions on that, I've offered some very, very good incentives for everyone to join productivity.
We get her just to do an open Zoom call and have her teach everybody.
Well, here's the thing. If it gets too big, I don't know. Sometimes you just need, like Joan and Rachel, like two people. You can really teach them one-on-one. I don't know.
But then Joan can help the lake agents. Rachel can help people each individually.
I'm not saying that you don't have a class too, but to me, it's like when you go to Walmart and they say it's down aisle 8, or if you say, oh, follow me, it's here on aisle 8, middle thing. Yeah, like I get frustrated sometimes with so much information. Like sometimes it's just like, show me, just you work with me and show me, two people.
Okay, or maybe they can just record it and send the video out to everybody then.
That could work too.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I would appreciate it. I'm going to be doing some live video this weekend, so I'm just going to try and do exactly what Tina was saying and just check it out.
Yeah, could you ask Lenora to set it up for tomorrow, please?
I am actually going to copy Rachel and message to Lenora, and they can deal with it on their own together.
Awesome.
Yep.
Make it happen, Joan.
Thank you. And I know Shalaya is the person I've been working with too, so she's really good about it also.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, the way I learned it was from a video of the convention, and one of the Facebook people taught how that would interlace into Command, and was showing all the different ways and dynamics of search people that you'd search for. And so I copied down what I was learning, and so that's what I've been teaching, and it seems to be very successful. She was saying put all these emojis in and all this stuff, and I thought, man, that's so unprofessional. I don't think I want to do that. And then she showed this very same ad with it and the results, and the very same ad without the emojis, and the results was, I mean, strikingly different. And I thought, I guess I'm going to have to get with with the new. But it works. It's crazy. And she's hired on at Keller Williams, but she came from Facebook. So, Tina?
Yes, that's pretty much my brain dump. I will send out links so that folks can follow me on Sunday, and I'll let you know the results.
Has anyone else got any questions before Tina goes?
I just wanted to make sure that that you guys sent out, what was she talking about? The Facebook pivot page?
Right. I'm going to ask you to do that, Dan. I'm going to have Dan do that, and if you don't find it, let me know. I can find it.
Okay, I get it. I know where it is.
Okay, it's one page.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, Tina.
Welcome.
You got anything else, Teresa?
Nope. I just want to remind everyone about our call with, on Friday, Stephen Acrie's team. And then next Thursday at 10 o'clock, I have some more information on the 1099 grant for independent contractors. And Quentin's checking his schedule. Hopefully he can join us and we'll work on it together. And then we have a little surprise guest as well. So I hope everyone will join us. Please put it on your calendar for the 23rd at 10 o'clock. And then Friday at 10 o'clock
This Friday.
with Stephen Acrie. Oh, yes.
You guys,
This
I'm gonna,
Friday.
yeah, I'm gonna share on the closed Facebook group the link to watch for the watch party if you guys want to join in.
That would be wonderful. Is there any way to do it where everyone else can see? We have a lot of Charlottesville people on here. Is there any way to,
Not on the closed Facebook.
No,
probably
I
what
can
you
just,
yeah.
those of you who are, and be gracious, please, because this was my first time. If y'all are friends with me on Facebook, Cheryl Smith, or if you like my realtor page, Cheryl H. Smith Realtor, then I'll wait and I'll start it at 10:45. That gives you 4 minutes to take a look if you have time. And if not, you can watch it anytime, but it might be fun to do a watch party and I'll just make it public. Ugh.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay, thanks guys.
That starts 23rd at 10 a.m., by the way.
Yep. So it's Friday at 10, this Friday at 10, and then next Thursday at 10.
Correct.
All right. Sounds perfect. Does anyone else have any questions? Thank you, Charlottesville, for joining us.
Okay.
Thank you for having us.
Someone just asked how to get the Zoom link on the questions. Did you see that, Dan?
Yeah, I'll email that question out that Tina was talking about.
Super. Yeah, send that out and then I'll share it with Quentin so he can share it with his group.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Y'all have a wonderful day. Dan, did you have anything else to go over?
No, just stay safe.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.